Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Gooms Podcast. Fucking hell, it's been a minute since it's just been you and me, bro.
I know.
We've been out in these streets grinding.
They've been calling for it.
Yeah.
They've been waiting.
I know. It's been an exciting few weeks for us with the Gooms Pod, hasn't it? I feel like we've really started to see and reap some of the rewards of like our hard work for the last 120 weeks. And I mean, just saying it now, I can feel the smile on my face. Like, bro, when we open those YouTubes and we see 1 out of 10 back-to-back weeks, we see the comments coming in, people being like, "Oh, I'm so happy I found you guys," and it's just it feels so rewarding, man. It feels like finally we're starting to get the attention and the respect in the podcasting space that we deserve, man.
Yeah, big thank you to everybody that's gone and listened to everything.
Vamos.
Genuinely.
Yeah, for real.
And we're finally we're starting to get some decent payouts now as well.
I know. YouTube motherfuckers started to pay us.
Yeah. It's a nice extra stream of revenue.
Yeah, and listen, guys, like it's nothing crazy. Let's not. I don't even think we've broken the 4-figure mark yet.
No.
But just to see
it's
that
nice
like
to
the
see
pod's
it,
doing something. Yeah. We're kind of getting a reward for all the time and effort that goes into showing up every week and giving you guys a video. And giving you something to listen to. And yeah, vamos, on to the next.
Yeah.
1 week at a time, innit?
Yeah.
What we're chopping it up about, dog?
Yeah, so in this episode, me and Chris are going to go through some of the most inspirational lessons, some of the best lessons that we've had from some of our previous guests, the best advice that we've had, the things that we've learned and we've been able to take on board and really, really implement into, first of all, the business, into our lives, personal development, personal mastery, all of those things.
I feel like we're free flowing a little bit as well. Like we haven't planned any of this. So I'm curious to see, like, I've got like a couple in my head and I'd assume you have some as well. But yeah, like this is just a little bit off the dome. We're just going to spit some facts. And hopefully you guys that have been listening and watching for however long, you'll remember the episodes and also as well, maybe even drop a comment. What was something that you took from an episode? What's a standout episode for you, a standout guest, and something that you took from there and still take into your day-to-day life as well. But yeah, you want to kick us off?
I was just going to say the same to you.
Okay. Well, I think should we go a little bit more recent times? I want to start with Ben Heath. Something that I came away from that episode thinking about a lot, and it was something that, and I even said it in the episode, was like, I really like that, and we can take that on into our business. It's in the onboarding process. The analogy that he gave, it was like there's some people in life that you ask them to do something, it's like, is he going to do it? Is she going to do it? Are they going to do it? You're up in the air, but then there's some people where you're like, I told H, bro, I need this done. Can you get it done? And he says, yes, I know that's going to get done. And the way that he framed it was like anybody with a service-based business, when you onboard a client, they want to have that same amount of trust and that feeling of they've got me. Do you know what I mean? And I just think like my approach specifically when like talking with new prospects, even like before we've signed them, showing them that like we've got your back. And that's why you should put your faith and your trust in us to work with us and partner with us. I feel like that was one of the standout points that I took from that episode. And I mean, if we in 5 or 10 years' time have an agency that's anywhere near the success that Ben has reached with him and his team and his partners, then I'll be over the fucking moon. Do you know what I mean?
I think to be fair, I never really thought of it, but I think like the number one piece of advice that I took from Ben, period, was probably just long form content.
Yeah.
Like even off camera, like I just said to him about a lead problem, like was there ever anything that you did different to get leads? It was like just always like long form content. It's the only thing that I'd ever say to anybody to bring in leads for their business is long form content is the thing that works the best.
But that is also like saying like, I don't know, to David Beckham, like, bro, how do you take so many good free kicks? Just keep taking free kicks. Like, it's like asking, like, do you know what I mean? Like he has, I think, 350,000 subscribers on YouTube. He's been doing it for nearly a decade now. Before YouTube was even a thing, he was making long form content about ads. He was one of the first into it. But like when he entered into the market, it was a lot less saturated than maybe me and you.
It was 7 years ago.
It was 7.
His first YouTube video, yeah.
But again, like,
unless he's gone and deleted.
I'm not saying he's wrong. You know what I mean? If anything, I fully agree. We both agree. But of course he's going to say long form content because that's what worked for him.
To be fair though, I think like now more so than ever, we're in a time where it's more important to focus your energy on long form content just because of the lack of trust across crisis. Everything. It's the most effective way in my opinion. Not to say that like we've cracked long form content for bringing in business for the business. But I do think that just from how you see people that are growing their brands and their businesses via long form content is without a doubt the most effective way.
I mean,
like period.
I would argue that we've been doing it for the last 120 weeks without really realizing that we've been doing it. There's people that I first interact with and they're like, bro, I love your content. I love your podcast. Before they say like, what do you do for work? So people associate us with that. And if they listen to us and they know that we're good dudes that work fucking hard, that are on a mission, we have a connection between ourselves, we're always honest and truthful on the podcast, that builds trust. Regardless of, look at us, how good we are at what we do. People can just, I don't know, like not jump to a conclusion, but they assume that, okay, these guys always dress relatively nicely. They hold themselves correctly. When they speak a certain type of way. They're probably pretty good at what they fucking do. So yeah, it's not specific, but I would argue that we've been doing long form content for, well,
if someone goes and watches one of our episodes, bro, especially like an in-house, they're going to feel like they know us by the end of it.
Exactly. And that's trust building in itself. Because we have an advantage over every other fucker that's just running an ad saying, swipe up and I'll give you this free. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Wait, so I did a Ben Heath one, so I think now it's your turn.
Well, I did technically do a Ben Heath one as well. But the one of the initial ones that I actually had in my head, first of all, was Liam Turnbull. Turnbull from TDM, but Liam Turnbull.
Liam.
He said to us off camera, and we just did ask him in terms of advice, he just said, say no more. And I feel like it's one of those things that does get thrown around social media quite a bit. I mean, I was never too bad at saying no, but the way that he framed it was about opportunities that you get and like learning to say no to them. And I just think that's quite important, just to stay dialed and stay focused on what it is that you're trying to get to. And there's always going to be distractions along the business journey, always.
I think it's about like knowing your worth at sometimes as well. Like an example off the back of that conversation is we came to them and we sat down with them at a time where we were a little bit lost in business. We were a little bit unsure as to what the next steps were. And we said, boys, like, is there anything that we could potentially do for you guys that would help, where you could help us in exchange? It would just be a value exchange. Yeah, well, obviously, in our heads, it's like, you guys create a lot of content. Can we help you with that? You guys are distributing a lot of content. Can we help you with that? And they turned around and were like, well, how would you feel about having some of our girls on? And we give you affiliate links and kickbacks of all of the signups that come through. And me and you instantly, simultaneously went, nah. And I'll never forget it. Liam went, you guys are going to do just fine. It's like the fact that you both said no instantly to an opportunity that probably could have made you a lot of money when you guys are struggling, because we were, shows me that you guys are okay. Do you know what I mean? And that was a big thing from that conversation, that I was like, oh yeah, you know what? And there was no conversation. We didn't look at each other. We both just instantly said no in the moment. Like, that's not our brand. That's not what we're here to do. We're not here to sell tits. We want to motivate the next generation, not lead them down a path of degeneracy.
And as well, to be honest with you, like, I don't really feel too comfortable with my mum seeing me with OnlyFans girls on a podcast. Yeah. To be completely transparent.
So how much money did you make from your tits last month? You know. Yeah, weird. I don't think it's our style. And to be honest, like, a lot of the people watching right now, you are men. Our audience is men. We did one episode with, at the time, the most highly followed individual that I think we had on the podcast today, and it flopped.
Who?
Sophie.
Oh, yeah.
It's the only female guest that we've had on, and it's not like, oh, we don't want to have females or opposed to it. It's just, I don't know, the mandem chop it up differently with the mandem. And also as well, like,
I think it does depend who it is. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Although she's got like a good story in terms of like the insights that we want to go into, like different niche, I'd say.
Yeah. I also would argue at that time, like, we didn't really know who we were, what we were. We were just kind of like, we have this podcast thing. Do you want to come on? You've got followers. And like, story was like, it's pretty inspirational. Like, but Could we have framed the conversation better? Could we have gone down a different route with it? Could we have, do you know what I mean? Done some more planning beforehand to make sure we got the best out of her. These are all things that we live and we learn about. Like, what was it, like episode 7, 8? Something like around those, like, so yeah, man. Right, next guest.
There's no such thing as a free lunch.
Completely. I would say, like, Sterling taught me how to fuck properly. Shout out Sterling, by the way, man. Like, Sterling, there's probably a lot of you guys that are listening right now that are here because of the Sterling podcast. Of course, Sterling is like a big character, and what we spoke about obviously is gonna like attract a lot of people towards the episode. But I also think that me and you had a really good performance during that episode. We asked him questions that maybe other people don't, and we also had a laugh with him. We weren't like you could. There was times when we listened to it back, and he's saying something like he was like "dick and balls," and me and you were just sniggering in the background like a couple of kids. That's just us, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, we laugh when people say dick and balls. But yeah, shout out Sterling, man, because obviously there's, I think 500 subscribers came off of that episode, which obviously is massive for a channel of our size. So yeah, but I would say one of the other biggest lessons that I've learned, I'm going to go with Mr. Elliot, Mr. Wise. I mean, coincidentally, it was a very wise words that he gave and shared to us. But I feel like there's no one specific thing that I can be like, I can point out that he said or taught me. I think more so like he showed us, which I think is worth more. We turned up, we got greeted like nicely. The house that we walked into, the way everything was set up, the way he was dressed, what his day consisted of, and the type of person that he is. It taught me that like you don't have to do it like everybody else to do it. Like, he has done it his way, and he's fucking still smashed it. Do you know what I mean? Like we spoke about moving away from the UK, and don't get me wrong, like we want to travel. We probably will have different places set up around the world later, further down the line. But the norm is to be like, fuck the UK, get out of here. And he's like, well, no, because that's not what I think. That's just one example. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, if you're rich and powerful and strong and good looking and handsome, you can get away with cheating on your wife and everything's still okay. He's like, no, because that's not how I roll. But he's still done it. And he's living proof that he done it. Lambo on the drive, Ferrari on the drive, G63 on the drive, Range Rover Vogue on the drive, Rolls Royce on the drive. The house that we turned up to, the home gym, the office, the way that his office inside the house where we shot was planned, like, and in his whiskey cabinet and all of these things, like, he's doing it. And at the end of the episode, I said, if in 10 years' time I have something close to what you do, I'll be proud. And I meant that. And he did it his way. He didn't do what Top G says online, like go and fuck bitches and all of these others kind of like entrepreneurs that are influencers online. He did it his way, and there was no shame in that.
Well, he stayed true to his opinion, right?
Exactly. Well, you would also argue that he probably said a no to a lot of shit because it didn't. Didn't sit right with him and who he is and what he wants. But yeah, like I said, there's not one specific thing that he said and I walked away from. Actually, other than the lead problem, I'm not going to go into details, but me and he was like, you've got a lead problem. This is what your offer is. Take that out and do that. Did it. Signed one client. Going to probably sign another one on Monday. Got a couple in the pipeline because we took that one thing. So naturally, like the one thing that he said, we were scared to drop our pride to do and take out of our offer. He said, just fix that. And then you fix the problem. And then you can move on and do whatever you want to do. But like, you're not there yet. So I feel like that's probably one thing that really stuck with us, and we've obviously reaped the rewards off short term. But in the grand scheme of things, it was just, he never said much. Well, he said a lot, but he never said anything that was like, oh. It was more so like he showed us in everything that I obviously just spoke about. Yeah. Come on, Sean, hit me.
You're going to need to give me a second, man. I've been trying to think, to be honest with you.
Go on, have a think. I'm just going to put my phone on silent because it keeps goes in and it's pissing me off. Ready to rock and roll or what?
Do you know what? I just joked about it, but it is actually one of the first things that came to my mind, and it's not specifically aligned with what Sterling said. There's no such thing as a free lunch. It is obviously the context that he used it was like about sex, right? Mm-hmm. Well, about masturbating.
Yeah.
But when you look at it from the other perspectives as well, that there's no such thing as a free lunch, like really basically just embedding that nothing is going to come to you easily. It's a quote that once I noticed that Sterling said it, and it was something that stuck with us because the joke around it and the clip, like it did that clip did quite, it went viral. That's the one that,
a lot of Sterling's clips did good.
And like obviously that's one that stuck with us, but like after seeing that on other podcasts and the way that people would frame that, it kind of stuck with me that like nothing does come free. And it's like, yes, we already know that, but just the way that he put it in that quote and the way that quote is put, there's no such thing as a free lunch. It did stick with me because to really to get the lunch, to get the thing that you want to get is the work that has to go in, and it's not going to come to you for free. It's not going to come to you easy, and it's not going to come to you without the work.
Yeah. It's valid. Shout out to Sterling. You porn god. Right. A big lesson that I took, I don't know if you'd frame it as a lesson or maybe just a perspective shift.
Go
on. But was on one of our more recent podcasts with Rob.
Moore.
Yeah. He said something in the podcast that when, obviously, in the conversation, it kind of went over my head a little bit. But once I watched the podcast back and I reviewed it, it kind of sat with me and it hit a little bit deep. And he was talking about stress. And he was talking about problems and going to war every day in business and what we think of going to war. But then he gave the analogy of like, your kid hasn't just been blown up in a war.
Mm-hmm.
The other one was like, somebody smashed into my car and then my premium on all 8 of my cars went up. And someone said, Rob, like, I wish I had that problem. And he looked back at it and was like, I kind of wish I had that problem too. Like, that's not that bad. It just allowed me to have like a bit of a perspective shift of like what we think are the worst things in the world. It's not to say that we didn't already think like this, because I feel like we do have quite a positive mind frame at all times.
I said it on that podcast. It's like, realistically, we're just a speck of dust on a floating blue ball.
Well, yeah. But sometimes it feels like more than that, especially when you are trying to build something and it feels like your livelihood, your manhood, your pride, your family's future, like, depend on this. Because in essence, it does. But sometimes you have to take a bit of a step back and look and realize that there's a lot more stuff in the world that's going wrong that is significantly worse than what you think having a bad day is. Like, oh, this client hasn't cleared this invoice, but we need to do this. Or, oh, we missed this. Or, oh, fuck, I messed up that piece of work. Or I had an argument with my missus and I can't get it out of my head. Or whatever our day-to-day problems are so minuscule and pathetic in comparison to real-life human beings just a few hours away on a plane. Their life, their day in, their day out is like actual war. And we wake up and we go to war with the gym, with ourselves, with each other to build something. And then there's other kids that are our age that go to war and had to kill someone today or yesterday. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, the perspective that Rob, kind of the way he said it was, you know what, like, he is somewhere in the business world that I would like to be. I think both of us would like to be at some stage. And he still has the same shit. And he's got 25 years of life experience on us and business experience on us. We should probably listen to some of the things that he's got to say. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, whether that was a lesson or just a perspective shift, I'm not really too sure how I'd word it, but it's something that sat with me and stuff.
I think it's both.
Yeah. Yeah. But I would also argue that maybe he didn't teach it me or teach it us, because we already knew that. But sometimes you just need a little bit of reassurance, and when you hear it from somebody that has some stuff that you want, sometimes it hits a little bit deeper than when we just say it to each other, or do you know what I mean? You just hear it like, oh, be grateful. or like there's people that are in a worse position. When your mom's saying like, don't worry, like this, it could have been worse. In your head, you're like, fuck! No, it couldn't. But if Rob Moore said, mate, it could have been fucking worse. Look what's happening to me. You probably receive it differently and dial back in and switch out of it. So, yeah, man, that was something that sat with me. You got any more?
I'd say this one's not really a lesson nor like a perspective shift or anything along those type of lines. It's more so, I thought it was quite inspiring, but the second time that we did the episode with James Moore from Remedy and we went down to his warehouse, listen, like no disrespect to James, like it's not like the most extravagant warehouse in the world. I think that he'd probably be able to back that as well.
And he can own
but
that, yeah.
Like walking in there and like seeing all the clothes everywhere, pallets ready to go to Foot Asylum. He had his little office that he'd work from and like go in there and film the pod with him, although it was an absolute mission. I found that like a really, really inspiring experience.
Yeah.
Like weirdly, I don't know, just seeing the clothes there and like the machine that he's got and that he's growing, that like he's just he's someone that's so close to our age. Like, what is it? Is he like a year older than us, I think?
No, I think James is like 26, 27.
So 2 years older than us.
Yeah, a couple.
Ish.
Couple
Yeah,
years, yeah.
It's, yeah, just seeing someone
But
so
still,
close to
in
our
our
age.
age bracket, yeah.
Someone so close to our age, within our age bracket, that is like just chasing their dreams relentlessly and like growing a 7-figure business is fucking sick.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing to see. And it was something that I found like particularly like quite inspiring, and I think something that stuck with me. Like I remember walking in and like seeing everything and just how dope it was.
Well, you've walked into businesses before or into HQs before. Like for instance, when we walked into Rob's and we saw there was building or whatever. You don't have a connection with that person. You don't have a relationship with that person. So you don't really expect anything less. I would argue the same way. I went to... My girlfriend did a shoot in, it was somewhere, it was one of the like clothing brands that are kind of like, not in competition with James, but they sell similar stuff, but they're a little bit further along the journey. It was like a Gaz Beadle Foot Asylum, like 2010 clothing brand. And I walked in there and like the setup was amazing. They had their studio in there, they had a stock room, they had offices, there was cars out the front. Like, it was like, oh, well, this is really cool. James's was nothing like that. But when you walk in and you know that this is my mate, it feels a whole lot more real. Like, he owns this.
Feels
shit.
a lot more attainable.
Yeah. Like, he owns this motherfucker. Like, that's his room. He built that shit. Like, they're his clothes that he designed and he approved and he felt the fabrics on and he's got the sizes and he's got, do you know what I mean, these orders coming through and they're his labels. They're his receipts of the people that ordered today into his business. Like, it feels different because you have a personal relationship, a connection to that person. It feels more real. Like you said, it feels more attainable. So yeah, I would argue that like I was probably more impressed by that walking into there because it was his than I have been walking into other big businesses or whatever, just because of the connection that you've got to the founder. So yeah, it's a pretty dope one. Shout out James, man. He deserves everything that comes his way. And potentially be a collaboration coming soon. Gooms Podcast Remedy. Oh god! But how many is that each? What's the time, Matt?
3.
Can you see it? 24 minutes. Oh shit!
3. Well, no, this is going to be your third.
Okay.
I do actually have another one.
Go on, hit me so I can think of one.
It's well, I've got a couple to be fair. It was when we had Harry Morgan on. I think it was off camera he said it to us, but it's something that has stuck with me, and I often give this advice to other people. But when you start to feel like uncomfortable, or your heart starts going, or stressed out, whatever that feeling is, that's like the opposite to calm, because there's like multiple different feelings, I guess, is just to take, like, understand that you're breathing faster and just to take slow breaths. And it's like not something that I do religiously, right? But like when I am in a situation where, I don't know, like maybe I am getting stressed or maybe I'm getting wound up or angry, taking those deep breaths. And I know it's such simple advice, but like he's very like mystical and like all with that type of stuff, isn't he? But just taking those few deep breaths and like bringing your heart rate back down from not going racing and beating to just chilling out, it really like calms you down and like helps you get into the proper mind frame to wherever you need to be in that situation.
By the way, you said mystical, right? Not mystical.
I said mystical.
Right, okay.
Like the word mystical.
Yeah, I was going to say, because
I didn't say mystical.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wouldn't label Harry as like mystical.
No.
He's cool in his own way, but I don't know. I wouldn't label him. Yeah, mystical makes sense. I just had to go. I was like, but he's very mystical. I was like, right, okay. Okay, what's the other one that you had? Because I'm still. You know what? I feel like because I'm thinking into it too much, like it's making it harder.
The other one, again, it wasn't necessarily a piece of advice. It was actually something that pissed us both off in the moment. Not in a bad way though. But the first time that the TDM boys came on, they came down in their McLaren and their Lambo, like cars that me and Chris both aspire to have, positions that me and Chris both aspire to be in, not within the OnlyFans world, but within business. Mm-hmm. And them leaving, after they left, I just remember feeling like we both kind of sat there like, no. We both sat there pissed off, not at them, nothing to do with them. It was more so like they've got what we fucking want, and it was like a pissed off and like envy that wasn't anything negative. Like there's no negative feelings towards those guys. To be honest with you, like they're good guys. It was more so the feeling of like, I fucking want that. Like I'm gonna work towards getting that type feeling. The inspiration that kind of came from being annoyed about it, that we don't fucking have it yet. Not in a place of pity or in a place of like feeling sorry for ourselves, in a place that fired us up.
Yeah. Again, like sometimes like they turned up to, at the time, which was our podcast studio every single week, they parked in the spaces that me and you would normally park in or just next to. And there was 2 cars that me and you wish we could have turned up in. Though we have our measly little A classes that are there, that when we were like 15, 16, 17, we were like, yeah, that's the car. And we got it, and then they just came, and it's like this bright orange thing and this bright red thing, and the doors go up, and we're like, you can see it there. Like they turned up, the neighbors are looking like, who's that? Do you know what I mean? When they drive off, people are like looking out their windows like, what's that? Who's that? We want that. Do you know what I mean? We want the when you just go to 30. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. We've got to put it in sport mode and rev it all the way up just to hear something. Like, it was real. It was in our face. And I think the fact that we sat down with them and we spoke with them human to human, not just that guy that drives past you on the motorway and you're like, fucking hell, look at that car. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like, you sat down and you speak to and have conversation in detail with the guys that are behind the steering wheels of those cars, the guys that are paying the monthly payments on those cars or cleared the payment for those cars. I think the reason that we were more pissed off was the fact that we sat with them, and not to say that they're unimpressive, but we weren't like, wow, these guys, wow, like they deserve the McLaren and the Lambo. It wasn't like they don't deserve it, but it wasn't, I don't know, you know, like there's some people that you sit with and you're like, that guy, wow, he was fucking sick. Mm-hmm. He didn't put a foot wrong. He would, like, it was humanized. It's like, they're just like us. Yeah, they're further along their journey, they make more money, but like their views are the same, their work rate was the same, their relationship was pretty similar. Like,
it's just made me think, another thing that they actually said as well, again, going back to the TDM boys, we've got some gems from them. It's not often that you get to sit down with some guys that are worth 8 figures. Like, it's not, especially when they're close to our age as well. Like, I mean, Liam is I think Liam actually is a year older than me.
Yeah.
And then Cam's obviously like 27, 28. But off camera again as well from Liam, he said it when we were just talking about finances, etc. That like, how do we basically asking the questions that prod and poke and find out how we can get to a similar level to you guys eventually one day. And he was like, well, like, boys, like, why are you stressing? He was like, it's not just about the money. He was like, fit, you guys speak well, you're intelligent, like all of these listed off all these different
you dress well,
characteristics.
you smell good, you articulate correctly.
And it's like the last thing on the list, he was like, may just be finances for you guys. Like there's a bunch of, it's not just about having the right finances and having lots of money, because if you don't have all of these other characteristics in check,
you can't be a top drawer man.
Yeah. Well, you can't be the man that you want to be, really.
Yeah.
It's true. And that was definitely like a paradigm shift for both of us, I believe.
You can argue that there's guys that are multi-millionaires that aren't in shape, don't have good relationships, that are lazy, that, do you know what I mean, that are just bums with money, simps with money, twats, dickheads with money. Like, it's not just about the money. And I feel like everybody that we sit down with and we speak with some sort of status or value or have achieved and amounted to something, they always say, you boys are going to go far. And that's not because we turned up in the Lambo, because we didn't. But we turned up and we were us. We had the conversations that we have. We dressed the way that we dressed. We held ourselves the way that we held ourselves. Like, I don't think they would be saying it if they didn't see it. And like, it is always nice to hear those things from people that are further along their journey, and to kind of, like you said, get, not reassurance, you referred to it as a paradigm shift, where it kind of just changed, like how you were like, oh, okay, maybe that's not the end of the world, because I'm actually ahead in other aspects. That was one thing that Elliot said. Yes, Elliot might have had a Bentley when he was our age, but he said mentally, the way that you guys talk, hold yourselves, the way you're thinking, I was nowhere near. I had the money, but I was nowhere near mentally where you guys are. And that was another thing that I was like, oh, okay, I can take some positives from that. Don't get me wrong, I like the fucking Bentley. Do you know what I mean? And everything that comes with it, but I can work with that. And I feel like a lesson that we've learnt, not just from our guests, like individually, I feel like on a whole, in the process of where we've been, is like, also referring back to Sterling, there's no free lunch. Like, we just focused on every day doing what needs to be done, showing up for ourselves, for each other, for our business, for our families, for our relationships, whatever it may be, showing up and not letting anything else change that. It's always like, Chris, I want a fucking Porsche. We're going to get there, bro. Do you know what I mean? Well, bro, I want to go. Bro, it's going to come, man. I want to do a podcast tour. Bro, we'll get there. Yeah. It's always, we're going to get there. There's no, do you know what I mean? But we're not thinking about how do we get there right now. It's always like, let's just keep doing what we're doing. And these things are going to come to us, because we're just adding character. We're adding traits and power-ups and skill sets and modes to our characters just every single day by just doing the things that we do.
I've had a couple more things that have come to mind that guests have said, and like one of them,
I was rolling over me here, H.
They're both from recent pods. I mean, one of them was what Elliot said, and he was like, "Where I might butcher the way that he said it, but exactly where you are right now is exactly where you are right now is where you deserve to be, and it's a reflection of the actions that you've put in, like leading up to where you are now, etc." And it's true. Like it is. It's like really. Like boiling it down. I mean, I know I've said it to you off camera, like not to say that we haven't put in the work, but like if we were worth like 10 mil now, it would have been a reflection over the past 3 years that we would have put in the work to deserve 10 fucking mil. Yeah. And I think that was something that kind of humbled me a little bit when he said it, to be completely honest with you. It was something that kind of made me realize, okay, maybe the actions that I need to be putting in are harder. Maybe the actions that I need to be putting in, the best way to frame it would be like I need to put in more actions to get to the position that I want to get in. Yeah. So that in a year's time, when I look back and reflect, the actions that I put in, the position that I'm in, is the correct one.
I mean, I can always say I think, and we could probably backdate and backtrack and be like, I think but genuinely, I think we're in the strongest position in so many different ways that we've ever been. I can see the light, and I mean, like, even down to the, like, dialing it back, and it's not necessarily just financial, but like, Goss is full time with us. That's something that we had been thinking about and planning on for years. And we didn't really know how it would work. Made it work. We are going to leave and get on a 20-hour flight to the other side of the world with our laptops and are going to make more money than we did this month at home. Like, these are things that we were like, that would be so cool. We really want to do that. We really want to, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think we are further than it feels than we are, because we always expect more and want more. And I also think a big part of that is sitting down with ultra successful people every fucking week or bi-weekly is also a case of like, I want that. I want what he's got. Like, that was pretty fucking cool. There's always the next shiny thing sat across from us telling us how good and shiny their thing is every fucking week. Like, I wouldn't say we've made it hard for ourselves, but naturally it's always easy to be like, fuck, I should be there. I should be here. Should have done that. Should have done this. But I'd argue there's a lot of people that listen to us day in, day out that maybe have the same feeling towards us. And we just don't see that. Again, it's about stepping out of the situation, our own situation, and looking at it on the grand scheme of things. Like, the guy that drives the Mercedes wants the Porsche. The guy in the Porsche wants the Ferrari. The guy in the Ferrari wants the private jet. The guy in the private jet wants the yacht, and vice versa. But there's a guy below us in a Vauxhall Corsa, in a Volkswagen Polo, that all they want is the Mercedes. There's the kid on the bike that all he wants is the Volkswagen Polo or the Corsa. That's life. We always are gonna. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think there was one more that I had as well. To be honest to you, from the back of at the end of Sterling's pod, when he just said that that he's jealous of the relationship that we have with our friends and the relationship that we have with each other. I feel like it's something that maybe we don't show enough gratitude towards, because we are very fortunate to have a good group of guys around us that we're all pretty driven.
Yeah,
a lot like going after the goals, trying to keep in shape, etc. Like, it's something that, I mean, for someone like Sterling to say to us, like, as well, that he was envious of that because he doesn't have it and he's never had it.
Well, no, didn't have it at our age.
Okay. He didn't have it
because he's gone out to find it now that he's been able to travel the world and social media, etc. But
it was just something that was a bit of a perspective shift.
Yeah, I feel like both of us too often take each other for granted. Like, it is not normal to have somebody move in across a house that you're at 3-4 times a week, being my grandparents at the time. And it's not normal for you to move in and over the road be someone that's the same age as you, from the same village as you, in the same country, that has the same morals, that has the same goals. Maybe we didn't know it at that time, but when you actually peel it back, what are the fucking chances? Like, bro, our grandparents are talking about how they used to see each other and meet up years ago. And then the relationships fizzled out and me and you somehow managed to rekindle it, and here we are today. And we're on the same fucking mission. And we're building something that's going to change not only our lives, but also our future families' lives too. And everybody that comes after. Like, that's not normal. That is like, what are the fucking chances? Do you know what I mean? The same year with the same goals, that have like same interests. Not everything, but most things. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not. And also as well, like, I think me and you make each other better versions of me and you, because we have these opposing thoughts and these different takes and perspectives on certain things. I can hold my hands up and say full well, if I didn't meet you, I don't know what I would be fucking doing now. Genuinely. Because before me and you grew up, let's say, I wanted to be on TV and I wanted to shag loads of pussy and I wanted to be on X on the beach, and I thought that's what was cool. You showed me and helped me to understand that doesn't have to be the way, bro. You can still be cool and do all the things that you think you want to do, but you can do it in a better way. You made me a better person in that way. And Sterling, I think, is envious that he didn't have that. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
he might not have ended up becoming a degenerate and doing porn.
Well, I mean, yeah.
It's true. Well, to be fair, you know what? You're a product of your environment. And you said all of his friends just wanted to shag loads of pussy and go sex parties.
Well, yeah.
And then that's how he got involved in porn,
Exactly
isn't
that.
it? No offense to Sterling, because what a fucking guy, man.
I mean,
you
figured it out in the end. But, I mean...
And he's now saving men as well.
Yeah. But do I want to be nearly 50 and not have a wife and no kids? And
I know he's 37.
What?
He's nearly 40. Yeah, he's 37, bro.
fucking hell, it's getting on, isn't he? But do I want to be at 37? Do I want to not have a wife and not have a stable situation at home and not, do you know what I mean? Do I want that? I don't think so. Do I want in 20 years my children to still be able to go and see my cock online? Ramming somebody that isn't their mom? I mean, I know it doesn't make it better if it is their mom, but still.
Yeah.
Like, there's different, people have different things and different views. And he obviously said, like, I was living a life of degeneracy, and he owns that, and that's fine. And his business is very different to what our business would be. Yes, he's helping men in that way, and somebody has to do it. But I would like to think that we can help men and women in a different way further down the line, that's maybe leaving more of a positive impact in different ways, let's say. Look, everybody wants to have sex with their partner and wants to be good at it. If he didn't teach it, somebody else probably would. He's filling a gap in the market that he can. But if I can teach somebody how to change their family's financial future, I would feel so much more satisfied at that than showing him how to fuck his wife. No filter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But each to their own, man. And like I said, shout out Sterling. He showed us a lot of love, and also like helped us a lot on our podcast journey. Kickstarted a lot of the stuff, like the snowball effect of the guests that are coming through to us now, which is something we didn't talk about, like people reaching out to us off of the back of, I saw your podcast with, and I think you guys are great.
I think
I'd love
fucking
to come
everybody
on.
saw the pod with Sterling, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I knew Sterling was a big deal because of some of the pods that you went on before, yeah. But like after we did the pod with him and like the reaction that we had to Sterling, I was just like, I was like just mad.
I think the coolest thing for us, well, for me personally, was looking at that episode, because he was on like a bit of a podcast run, let's say, when he came with us, looking at all the other podcasts that he did at the same time that already have such a bigger head start than us, and we outperformed them in regards to numbers. And I haven't gone and sat and listened to the episodes, but off of the clips that I've seen from them, I feel like we probably deserved it because of the conversation that we had. It was a little bit more playful. There was a nicer balance. It wasn't just like, how do I make my girlfriend wet? Like, it wasn't that blasé stuff. We sat down, we had a conversation with somebody that's experienced some shit that me and you are never going to experience.
That's the thing. I feel like a lot of people just sit down, they have the same fucking interviews and the same questions.
Yeah, I think ours was different.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we had a laugh with him. We took the piss out of him a little bit, and vice versa. Like, it was just a playful conversation with somebody that's different to us. And I think it brought out a really good vibe. And the combo on a whole, just, it showed there's three very different people in this conversation with different standpoints and views, chopping it up. And that's entertainment for people. And I think that's why people stuck around, and the feedback we got from that episode was so good. But yeah, man.
It's time to wrap up.
Time to wrap it up, man.
Next time, you had any more lessons that you learned?
Probably dig some out, and I'll probably listen to this back and be like, oh, I should have said that, but we got shit to do, baby.
Yeah.
And guys, next time that you see me and H, we're going to be in Bali.
Potentially not. I was just thinking about that.
Oh.
But we'll speak after.
Oh, maybe not. But yeah, as always, guys, thank you for showing up. If you're still here, we appreciate you. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell notification on so you get notified every time we release a podcast on YouTube, and also leave us a rating and follow us on Spotify if you haven't already, and drop us a comment. We literally read and respond to pretty much every single comment. It fires us up. It helps our algorithm. If there's any lessons that you guys have learned and we didn't mention them, drop them in there. If you want to just show some love, drop us a little fire emoji in the comments. We'll see you all next week.
Catch you later, guys.
Vamos.
Love.
Peace.